and we don't really stop to think about the actual effort. These are some of the questions that you want to be asking yourself. Because the process is so difficult, it's important that the goals that you set for yourself have this steady foundation. 2024. That doesn't even sound like a real year. My video may be like a month late, but I still want to get my idea out there. Unlike previous years, for this year, I'm not doing the mindless goal setting that I'm used to doing, and it's already lessening a lot of pressure on me, which is good. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Part 1. Why we set goals for the new year. I'd say that humans have a natural inclination to better themselves and improve in one way or another, and the element that bridges the gap between someone's current self and their ideal self are goals. So we think, as long as I achieve these goals, I become this ideal person, and we don't really stop to think about the actual effort to get up out of bed and take action, do the steps necessary to reach that goal if possible. So what ends up happening is you try out your New Year's resolutions. It's not as easy as you hoped it would be, and then you just end up giving up on them. I remember about 2 years ago, I set a lot of goals for myself, and I knew that 2022 would be my year. I'd be a different person, and just seeing all those goals on the cover of my journal just made me feel so much more accomplished already. Now that leads us to the pitfalls of goal setting. So I do want to emphasize that it is important to have this general idea of which direction you're going in. If you're setting goals that once are achieved would make you a perfect person, then you may have to reevaluate those goals, because nobody's immune to that feeling, that burst of energy where you're just sitting at a cafe sipping on a nice latte and you're thinking of how your life would be if you achieved all those goals. So here's a different approach to setting goals for the new year. There's only 2 steps in this process, and neither of them are easier than the other. So let's say you're applying to this club and 2 people are applying to the same club, but they both have different reasons. The first person joins because everyone else is joining and it just looks cool. So as soon as they see the poster, they write their name on the sign-up sheet and boom, they're done. But the second person sees the poster, also thinks it's pretty cool, but goes back home, thinks about why they need to join this club, and after a holistic evaluation, they come to the conclusion that it's going to be important for their future career path, their social skills, or whatever they want to achieve. And after this deep consideration, this person signs up for the club. So out of these 2 people, which person do you think will be more committed to the club? Of course, it's the second person. Tying into that concept, let me explain this 2-step process for you. The first step is reestablishing your values. And this sounds like a lot, it sounds very overwhelming, but I'd say the essence of reestablishing your values is just throwing a lot of questions at yourself and trying your best to come up with an answer to most of them. What are the things in your life, both personally and professionally, that you value? Or what are some character traits that you hold as a standard to see whether yourself or other people are a good person or a successful person? What brings you the most joy? What brings you the most fulfillment? And do you have any religious values? These are some of the questions that you want to be asking yourself and that you want to have an answer to, so that it'll serve as a foundation for the rest of your goals. Now that you have answers to those questions, I want you to think about the most important aspects that you want to better yourself in. You need to check if you did this step correctly. Let's say you said, I want to read 20 books this year. Learning in general and specifically from books, is it something that when you're like 90, 100 years old and you think back on your life, you're like, I was an avid reader. Is it that important to you? If it's that important, then yes, of course, go ahead, go for that. But if you just set that goal because, it seems like everybody else is picking up reading again, then you need to reevaluate that goal. Or if you want to become a kinder person, is it genuinely engraved in your core values that you need to be somebody who is spreading positive energy to the people around them and on a bigger scale? If so, then yeah, of course, set goals in that direction. But if not, I mean, I guess it's good that you want to be a kind person, but if you're just gonna set that goal to feel better about yourself, that warm fuzzy feeling's just gonna fade away within a month or 2 maybe. So really think about it. When I'm lying on my deathbed, is this something that I want to be proud of? Is this something that I am glad that I achieved? Step 2 is do it. Your goal or that thing that you want to achieve this year already has such a steady foundation that you don't even need to give it more thought. What you need to be thinking about now is when you wake up each morning, how do you become that goal? If you want to contact friends and family more often, I wake up, how do I become someone who contacts their friends and family more often? You don't need to spend any more time contemplating about whether or not this goal is an important goal for you, because you already did that in step 1. Like I mentioned, no step is easier than the other, and reestablishing your values is difficult to do, especially if you're someone who doesn't really think about their values that often, which is a lot of people. But then again, the second step, like actually getting up, waking up each morning, being motivated to do the thing you want to do and actually doing it, that's also difficult to do because nobody wants to accept change. I mean, I'm like this, everyone's like this. My mind likes to think that, you know, I'm such a better person by sipping on my little coffee, writing down my goals because I imagine myself to be a better person. But how many people are actually willing to take that step, take those little steps day by day throughout the whole year? So yeah, because the process is so difficult, it's important that the goals that you set for yourself have this steady foundation, and that foundation is based on your values. It's the values and the amount of thought you put into your goals before setting them that help you throughout this process. As somebody who previously loved goal setting and just really enjoyed imagining this perfect version of myself, I know how it feels to not have achieved all those goals and reach the end of the year thinking, did I even make progress? Where are my results? Or feeling like you're right where you started, basically. And the last portion of this video is an actionable step for you. After you're done watching this video, I want you to grab a pen and paper or your Notion, just whatever, and write down one core value that you have and think of an aspect within that value that you want to better yourself in. Number 2, I want you to write down what's something you can do every day, or not even every day, like let's say every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you know, that'll take you a step closer to reaching this goal. So that's my assignment to you, and go ahead and let me know in the comment section what your value is and how you're going to take steps to achieve that daily or weekly, whatever. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.